Hey, what's up guys? Sorry it took me so long to make this video. I just been really busy. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about what happened to me in the San Pedro experience and in the ceremony and the profound experience that I had. But let me tell you a little bit about what the ceremony is. So the gentleman that did it, he's actually in the practice of the Chekwa people or Cheque people. I'm not sure what the name is. It comes somewhere from Central America, and basically you smoke a sacred tobacco, not Tabasco, sacred tobacco that's wrapped in corn husk. And once you smoke that, you make a prayer to the tobacco. They put the tobacco in a little charcoal fire that they have in the center, which they start first actually. And after that prayer, the shaman gives a prayer for his family, for everything, for everybody in the room. And then we share the San Pedro. And once we share the San Pedro, we start singing like power songs. But since this was a different ceremony, we did one round of power songs, and then after that, they pretty much just sing their own songs that they like to sing. That's like about love, about the earth, about past loves, and pretty much being one with everything. Like really, really nice songs. Some of them were kind of funny. Some of them had some curse words in it that I didn't like too much, but overall, it was kind of like a positive vibe to it. The one thing I didn't like about the ceremony was that a lot of them were smoking cigarettes and drinking alcohol. And it's because in this ceremony they find those two products to be sacred and that they're healing medicines. I do not feel that way, so I didn't like that part. It almost just seemed like these guys pretty much made that excuse so they could get fucked up during the ceremony. That's what I took from it. It seemed like just one big party for them rather than like a sacred ceremony that we're giving prayers to and taking serious, because everybody there was family. So they had like the shaman had brought like I think 10 or 15 members of his family, so they were all clowning and having fun because they're already used to this. But for me, it was kind of like something serious and something that I wanted to take with like respect and dignity, but it didn't seem like that kind of attitude, so that kind of threw me off a little bit. But um, I'm still glad that I went through it. And so after the first round of San Pedro, since I had fasted for like 18 hours, um, the San Pedro hit me really, really hard right off the back. Some people didn't even feel anything, even after the third round. But me, right after the first round, I immediately felt the effects. And so, uh, this is the weird part, right? So, what I saw was really, really uncomfortable. I went in with the intention to be humble and to listen. And so when I started having my vision, I wasn't really listening or being humble about it. And so it started to get really, really, really uncomfortable in my brain. Like I couldn't take it anymore. So I really don't know what the time frame is because you lose track of time. But I pretty much gave in and surrendered to whatever I was seeing. And so yeah, this is the really uncomfortable part. So what I saw was I saw my mother and I saw my sister, and you guys were both naked, and I was naked too. And there's nothing sexual about it. And so I hugged you guys, and when I hugged you, I became you. And when I became you, I came out the other side of you, holding all your negative energy as if like I took it out of you. And I did that for my mother, I did that for Paola, my sister, and then I did it for my grandmother, Lela, and I did it for my uncles, I did it for my cousins, I did it for everybody, my aunts, everybody in my family. And when I say family, I also mean my friends. And I'm just saying friends so you can understand that you're part of my family as well. And so I did it for all of you guys. And if you're receiving this message, you're obviously my family. And maybe I didn't send it to you, but somebody gives it to you, and this message is for you too. So what I took from it was that we're all born naked into this world, and it's almost like shedding off the layers of shit that we have and that we keep with us. and we were all naked and pure, just like how we come into this world, just like nature. Nature has no covers, no layers. It is what it is. And so I'm sorry, I'm just making sure that everybody didn't leave yet, because we're gonna go do Temazcal too. Um, so it's like having no layers and having no boundaries, and from what I took from it was that we're all one. We're all the same. We're all part of the same energy, part of the same spirit. We all come from the earth, and it's kind of like we're all one, but at the same time we're all nothing. And I'm not sure if that will make too much sense to you, but it makes like perfect sense to me. And I've heard this expression before, and now I truly understand it on such a deeper level, because everything is the same. We're all part of the same. Yeah, we're all one, we're all nothing. And so after I got that experience and I finally realized it and surrendered to it and understood it, then it went poof, back into the universe, right? I was able to let that go, accept it, and then after that, I kind of closed my eyes. I don't know for how long, because you don't really have a reference of time, because the whole ceremony, you're sitting down in a dark room with no lights, just a charcoal fire in the middle. And this dark room gets filled with a lot of smoke, because they're burning cedars, they're smoking cigarettes, they're burning all types of sacred medicines and herbs in the fire to give prayers. And so the room gets really, really smoky, so it does get like really, really uncomfortable in there. Both breathing and just sitting there for like, I don't know, 12, 13 hours and not moving. It's really, really intense. But so after I had that vision, I closed my eyes, I looked into the fire, and when I looked into the fire, I saw a gesture. And I'm not sure if you guys ever heard of the term of the cosmic gesture, but supposedly like the great spirit that one of the spirits that bind us all together is kind of like a joker, and he's always trying to have fun and like make light of life, because life is just one big game and one big joke. We just don't know, we don't realize that we're the punchline, that this whole reality is the punchline. So I saw a gesture in the fire. I closed my eyes again, and after I closed my eyes again, I opened them. Once again, I don't know how long I closed my eyes for. And when I looked in the fire, I saw a ram's head with horns. And then I closed my eyes again. I looked into the fire, into the charcoal fire, and I saw the head of Jesus Christ, which is really weird because I don't believe in Jesus Christ. And he had the crown of thorns on his head and everything, and his face was facing up and his head was facing south. So as I was looking at this, I saw him breathing out fire and smoke out of his mouth, which was really interesting. And I'm not 100% sure because I haven't done the research yet, but if I am correct, the ram is the male version of the lamb, and Jesus is supposed to be the Lamb of God who was a sacrifice. So I found that really interesting that they're both related like consecutively. And so then I closed my eyes again and I looked into the fire again, and I saw a cyclops, like one eye, kind of like the eye of Sauron from Lord of the Rings, and the eye was protected by a helmet with horns. And then after that, I believe we had our second round of San Pedro, and I pretty much just saw in the darkness like this gray energy emitting from everybody, and that was really interesting. And I also forgot to mention that after I saw all my family naked, and like I said, if you're my friend, you're also my family, I also saw everybody in the room naked. and I hugged everybody in the room, and I did the same for them too that I did for you. And it was really, really profound because it made me realize that we're all one, and at the same time we're all nothing. And I know I'm repeating myself, but for me it's just so profound and it makes so much sense. And sometimes the more you say it, the more it makes sense. Anyways, so after that second round of San Pedro, I saw the energies, the gray energies, and I saw a whole bunch of colors in my brain, and I saw colors everywhere, and like little fractal figures, like squares and triangles and like different shapes and all that. So that was really cool. And so you're there for in the darkness for like 12 hours, like I said, sitting down, not moving, and that was super intense because usually the way I felt was like kind of like being on some really, really intense mushroom trip, and I usually like to be in nature, so that was like super difficult to not move and just stay focused. And as everybody was like sleeping or falling down or like supporting themselves with the wall, I just pretty much sat up Indian style the whole time. The lowest I ever got was like down to my elbows, but I never laid down, so I pretty much made it even harder for myself. And so at the end of the ceremony, I was super, super exhausted, ready to go to sleep, done, like super done. And so when the ceremony ends, you hug everybody. And once I started hugging everybody, it's like I was rejuvenated, and I got this like super boost of energy. And like I said, I had fasted for 18 hours, and I hadn't drank water for 12 hours because I drank right before the ceremony. And after the ceremony, I was feeling so good that I actually didn't eat for another, what, like 6 or 7 hours. And I didn't drink any water for another 6 or 7 hours as well. And I was pretty much zoning, like loving nature, loving the sun, loving everything, loving everybody, and pretty much like incorporating this idea that we're all one and that we're all nothing, and how like life is just one big game, you know. You just gotta play to win, or yeah. And even if you don't win, you win, you know. I know it sounds silly. Anyways, it was a really great experience, and like I said, I was weirded out in the beginning, but then I realized it was just like symbolic to how we're all naked when we come into this world, and that we place these restrictions upon ourselves, and that shouldn't make us uncomfortable. We should accept everybody for who they are, and we should love everybody, and especially our enemies, because our enemies are the ones that need the love the most, because they are the ones who are truly lost. Anyways, I love you guys. Thank you for listening. I hope this made sense to you. It makes perfect sense to me. Tonight we're gonna do another temazcal, which is a sweat lodge. So I'll let you know how that goes. And tomorrow we're gonna do another San Pedro ceremony to celebrate the spring equinox here in Ecuador. So that's gonna be really interesting. I wasn't really gonna participate because after that San Pedro ceremony, I was really, really, really drained. But now I feel 100% again. And the gentleman that we're gonna do the ceremony with is an actual Ecuadorian shaman. So this is gonna be a totally different ceremony, and since we're celebrating the equinox, it's gonna be even more special. And basically what we're gonna do is hang out outside, which is exactly what I like. And we're gonna be with nature, and we're also gonna... Alright guys, I gotta go. Bye. Love you.